Jai Hind everyone. My name is Aman Gupta and I am working as a software engineer in Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College. Today I am going to discuss about the subject software quality engineering whose subject code is BMC 035. So let's start with, first of all, we have to understand that what is the software quality. So traditionally high quality product is outlined in terms of its fitness or its purpose. So that is, a high quality product will specifically be what the users needed and what the users need to try. So the quality is judged by the user perception that what is good and what is bad. For code products, fitness of purpose is typically taken in terms of satisfaction of the wants arranged down with the SRS document. So first of all, when a software is developed, it is developed through a process. That means that when we develop a software, there must be some software development, software requirement specifications that has been listed out. And if our software or product follow the same process that has been listed out in that model or in that process, that is and our software is developed according to that requirement of the client, that means that it fulfill all the requirement of the client. So that it means that it satisfy the code or the features satisfied the all the requirement of the customer or the client. So that is that means that the quality of software is good. True fitness of purpose could be a satisfactory definition of quality, or some products like automobile, fan, grinding machine, etc. for code products. Okay, fitness of purpose is not a completely satisfactory definition of quality. So, when we talk about a product, then we judge its quality on the basis of its features. If it functions properly, then we can say about that product that it is because it's satisfactorily working in and fulfill all my conditions, all my work properly. So it is fitness, it is fitted down according to my software quality. But is that the complete satisfactory definition of quality? So according to a software quality refers to the ability of the software product to perform and respond according to the need and the requirement of the users. So that means that if our software is working according to the needs of a customer, that means that have that software quality and it works according to the need. So a software product which does not contains any errors or bugs, understand, a software product which is bug free refers to the quality of the software. If a software product is bug free or error free, it means that the quality of the software is good. Now software quality shows how good and reliable a product is. So to convey an associate degree example, think about functionally correct software. It performs all functions as laid out in the SRS document, but it has an associate degree virtually unusable program even though it should be functional correct. So we can have some non-functional features like scalability, reliability, maintainability that also needs to be fulfilled when we talk about the software quality. So we tend not to think about it as a high quality product. Actually, we focus only on the functionality of the software, but we are not if we are not talking about the non-functional features, then it is not a complete definition of the software quality. So another example of product that will have everything that the users need but has an associate degree, virtually incomprehensible and not maintainable code. So the normal construct of quality as fitness of purpose for code product is not satisfactory. So we have some attributes and specifications. On the basis of that, we can judge the quality of the software. So we have some high quality associates with software, and we have multiple quality factors as well. First of all, we have a quality that is called the portability. In the terms of software, software is claimed to be transportable. Means if we have to port our product or our software to run another system on another system with different operating system, that means that it has the portable features. So it may be simply created to figure in several package environments, that it can easily run on different type of machines with alternative code products, with alternative operating system, with alternative resources. And when we talk about usability, software has smart usability if completely different classes or the of users. So it will simply invoke the functions of the products. So usability is also our important features when we talk about software quality. Reusability. Software has a smart reusability if completely different modules of the products will simply be reused to develop the new products. So it also listed out in the attributes of a software quality that if some functionality or some modules can be reused in our software, in our programming code, so that we not need to write that code again and again. So that is called the reusability. Another factor is the correctness. So correctness is also an important factor, that if software is correct and if completely different needs as laid out in the SRS document are properly enforced, means what is written in the SRS, that is completely correct, that features has been completely incorporated in our software according to the SRS. Next feature is the maintainability. Our software is repairable if errors may be simply corrected as and once they show up. So maintainability is the feature that after deployment of the software, the maintainability of software is easy and the errors or the bugs may be easily fixed. New functions may be simply added to the products, and therefore the functionalities of the product may be simply changed without any error or without changing the basic features of the software. Next one is the reliability. Software is more reliable if it has fewer failures, that a user can rely on that software for his or her major workflow. So since software engineers do not deliberately plan for their software to fail, reliability depends on the number and the type of mistakes they make. So reliability means if suppose I am working on some software and my work is totally dependent on that, and suppose it I am trying to do something and it fail instantly and my work gets lost. So the reliability feature is failed to achieve in that scenario. So designers can improve reliability by ensuring that the software is easy to implement and change, by ensuring that if failures occur, then system can handle it, and can if there may be some problem, then the system can recover easily. So that is the reliability part of the software quality. Next one is the efficiency. So the more efficient software is, the less it uses of CPU, time, memory, disk space, network bandwidth and other resources. So the efficiency of a software increase when it uses minimal resources and give the maximum output. So this is important to customers in order to reduce their cost of running of the software. As efficiency, if efficiency increased in limited number of resources, that is the best part of a software. So see, it means that although with today's powerful computers, CPU time, memory and disk usage are less of a concern than in years gone by. Now, what is the cost of quality? So, software quality management is driven by the economic assessment of development and maintenance, and it has been often measured through the cost of quality. So, this framework categorize efforts into those good quality and those that result from the poor quality. So, what is cost of quality? Cost of quality is the sum of the cost of good quality and cost of poor quality, that is failures of control. So, what is cost of good quality? That if we have invested in control or to have some preventive measures in advance. Suppose we install the antivirus, for example, we have antivirus, then it is the investment in the good quality. And if what is the cost of poor quality? If maybe there's some attack and then we recover from this attack, it is the cost of poor quality. Now we have some prevention cost. So expenses to stop defects before they happen, means we take some measures to control the risks that may be happen to our system, that is the has been taken to stop the defects to arise in the software. So developer training may be given to them, training given to the developer. Process improvement is the step. Writing clear specifications. These are some points that has to be taken care when we are talking about the prevention cost. So this type of cost which we expend in early stages will stop the investment or cost of bad quality, we can say. So next is the appraisal cost. Cost of evaluating products for defects, including inspections, testing and audits. This is called the appraisal cost. This cost arises when we have product or the coding has been done, then only the testing and inspections and audit have been done on that software. That is called the appraisal cost. Next one is the internal failure cost. So cost for defects found before delivery, such as rework, waste and retesting. So these are the internal failure cost. Suppose our product has been developed and we are in a testing process, and then we found that there are some problems arise in our software and there are some internal failures in the code or any type of error or any type of bug. Then we have to rework on that and we have to retest it after correct the code. So this type of cost is called the internal failure cost. Now next is the external failure cost. So cost for defects found by the customers after delivery. So including warranty claims, repairs, handling complaints, means the errors or bugs comes after the deployment of the software or after handing over to the customer. So this comes under the maintenance cost and also called as the external failure cost. Now we have some terms that what are defects, faults, failures, errors, bugs. So what these these terms meaning casualty in the software issues. So first of all, error. We usually say that there is an error in the software. So error is a human mistake. Generally, typing error, a logic misunderstanding, and it has been made during the coding or design. So that is called the error. And what is fault? Fault or bug. Due to this error, a fault arises in the system. Manifestation of an error within the code. It is the underlying condition that can cause a failure. So after error, it has been converted into a fault, and due to this fault, system can lead to be a failure. Next term is the failure, that is the observable inability of the software to perform its required function during the execution. Now, after the bug has been come into the code, then it tends to be the failure. Next is the defect, a general term for a deviation between the actual and the expected behavior of the system. It has been identified during the testing that this functionality has not been completely achieved by the system, that is called the defect. Now, how can we calculate that defect? We have some terms. We can calculate defect rate, we can calculate defect density through this defect. So first of all, defect rate. So the number of defects detected per unit means per test cycle. If we have to check a code for its defect, then how many number of times we have checked that code per cycle, that is called the number of test cycles. How many number of times we have go through that code, that is the number of test cycle. And in that particular one cycle, how much number of defects have been detected, that is called the number of defects detected over in the number of test cycles. That means defect rate equals to number of defects detected into 100 divided by number of test cycles. So we can calculate defect rate by this. Now, what is defect density? Number of defects arrived during a period of time per unit the size of software is called the defect density, and defect density equals to defect count over size of module or the software. So we can find defect density by this formula. So defect density is counted per 1000 lines of code and is that is called the KLOC, lines of code. 1000 lines of code is standard for defect density is not fixed, but one defect per 1000 lines of code is considered as good quality of the project. So minimum the number of defects per 1000 line is considered as the good software, good quality software. Now, next is the reliability. So the probability of failure free operation for a specific period of time, and that is the high reliability typically corresponds to lower defects rate. If we have lower defects rate, then we have higher the reliability for the software. Now, next we have some defect management strategies, and these strategies have been divided into 3 parts, that is defect prevention, defect reduction, and defect containment. So first of all, defect prevention, it is a plan made out to reduce the number of defects in the software product by identifying the cause of defect. So in this we have take the measures before the defect arise in the system. We need to take some measures, or we have to make some planning to prevent the occurrence of the defects in our software. So its strategy of defect prevention is to analyze the phases of the software product where the defects were arrived and preventing the occurrence of these defects in the future. So we have to stop that defects to occur in our software. On the basis of the previous incidents, we can stop them to occur in our software at this time. So this is the defect prevention. So it causes an increase in productivity and effort reduction. If we take some measures previously, then it lowers the cost of software and stopping defects from being introduced at the source. So for this, we have some training, formal development methods, and adherence to the coding standards. Now, next one is the defect reduction. So detecting and removing existing fault before release. In defect prevention, we are taking some measures before the defects arise in the system, and in defect reduction is the part in which the defect has been taken care after they have been arise in the system after the before the release of the software. So the most common methods are testing. We can do that defect reduction technique by having some testing like black box testing, white box testing, and we can also have some formal reviews of the system, that is called the inspections like Fagan inspections or the peer reviews. Now next one is the defect containment. So it is a strategy, an attempt to increase the software quality and reducing the cost of software products simultaneously. So in this, they need to focus upon both the software quality and also to reduce the software cost. It is reported usually as the percentage of defects captured in the phase with which they are originated. So the process of displaying the information about the issues and problems occurred and reported for a software system. So limiting the impact of defects that remain in the system used in critical system. It has been used, defect containment is used in various fields, that is medical, aerospace, and this involves the fault tolerance through recovery blocks or N version programming to ensure a failure doesn't lead to catastrophe. Okay. Now we have software reliability, inspection in software quality. So it often leads to the verification of quality of that software product. So its goal is to identifying the defect. Inspection refers to the peer review of a software product done by the individuals in order to look for the defects using certain well-defined process. So we have different type of stages to have inspection in our software quality. First is planning, overview meetings, preparation, inspection meetings, follow up, and also the rework. So these are the stages of the inspection. Now first one is the planning. In this stage, the inspection activities planned in advance. Means all the artifacts that has to be inspected is selected, and who are going to inspect, the team, who is in the team of, and what are their roles, who is the moderator, who is the author, who is the reviewer, and who is the recorder. These all tasks already been assigned in the planning stage, and all the schedules has been prepared, and entry and exit criteria are also defined in this stage only. For example, planning the inspection of a login module source. So, and assign a moderator and 2 reviewers. So, 2 reviewers will audit that inspection of a login module, and 1 moderator has been assigned to list out all the errors or all the problems. Next one is the overview meeting. The author presents an overview of the software artifacts to the inspection team. And the purpose, functionality, and design approach are explained to that reviewers gain a common understanding. Means the author tells that what the software does and according to the need of the user. So both persons will equally understand the functionality of the software. No defect identification is done at this stage, because author only present the overview of software. It doesn't mean that he is going to showcase the errors or bugs to the presenter or the inspection team. So the author explains how user authentication is implemented. He is going to discuss he is going to present the process of the software to the inspection team. Next one is the preparation. So each reviewer means he is a part of the inspection team. Reviewer individually examines the artifact using checklists to identify the defect. In planning time stage, it has been listed out that what he going to do, what type of defects they have to discover. Then it has been done in that stage, that this stage is done independently without discussion to ensure unbiased defect detection. So reviewers identify missing input validation and poor variable naming in the code. Next is the inspection meeting. So in this, a formal meeting is conducted where reviewers report to the defects found during the preparation. So in this meeting, in this formal meeting, the team has found some problems in the software. So they they listed out that defects, and the moderator controls the meeting and the recorder documents all the defects. So focus is on defect identification, not on fixes them. In this stage only, all the defects have been listed out, not sorted out. So for example, security flaws and logical errors in the login module are only recorded and not resolved. Now next one is the rework. In this stage, the author corrects all the defects identified during the inspection meeting. In this stage, all the errors that have been occurred in the previous stage, then in this stage the author corrects all the defects found. So necessary modifications are made to improve the quality of the artifact. So for example, the author fixes security issues and improves the input validation. Now next one is the follow-up. The moderator verifies whether all reported defects have been properly fixed and ensures that no new defects are introduced. If required, re-inspection is scheduled. For example, the moderator confirms that all issues in the login module has been resolved. So the software inspection is a structured process that helps in early defect detection and quality improvement, ultimately reducing the development cost and enhancing the software reliability. That's all for today. Thank you so much.